Steelers junior quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. Zach, and Mike.
Thanks, Fernando. You've talked about this a little bit, but how much do you lean, at least maybe early on your brother for things like terminology, just the basic stuff, kind of the day-to-day stuff in this offense specifically, just to get you a little bit more comfortable? Obviously, the experience, you've got maybe the advantage on him, but the experience in this offense.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, great to meet you, Mr. Zach. But second of all, my brother's been a tremendous resource. Today was practice 4. I mean, he's out there dicing the defense up. I mean, he's this fantastic player. So when I'm able to lean on him on certain plays, how the play moves, throughout the plays, after plays, he's able to give me tips, be like, it just little key instances that you would get from experience in an offense. So I feel like I've gained that. I've been getting better every single practice by the likes of coaches like Shanahan, Chandler, and Alberto. They've all been helping me a ton, and so I'm really excited about my development.
We'll go Mike on your left and then Pete.
Yeah, man, you were sacked, I think, the second most times in the country last year. How challenging is that when you're in the moment, and can that impact your confidence at all? Purpose and Eddie's kind of mentioned a couple times, when you watch the film, that's kind of the thing that stands out. You were on the run a lot. Talk about the experience last fall.
Yeah, so I believe that sacks are both a quarterback and line stat, so I do take responsibility on that in my previous stop. However, having those amazing offensive linemen, Coogan, Bray, Carter, Zen, DeMola, Austin, I mean, just everybody. I can go on and on about all those guys. I mean, those are all phenomenal players, and it's definitely, I mean, I have a ton of time. I have a lot of time, and it's quite honestly a little more time I'm used to, I would say. But it's been great, and I've had great offensive line in the past, and I'm blessed to have an amazing offensive line this year.
We'll go second row left to Pete, and then Todd.
Yeah, Fernando, what intrigues you about this offense? And then when did you actually start diving into the playbook? Like you committed on Monday, and Monday night you got the playbook, and how did that work?
Yeah, so I would say the offensive, kind of the simplicity, but also the complexity of it, as there's so many shifts, motions, different RPOs, and everything that we run. However, it's very concept-based. As far as you learn the concept, there's so many different ways we can dress things up, but in reality, when you learn the concept, when you learn the ins and outs and little intricacies of each play, you're able to master it at a high level. Personally, I feel like I needed more reps at that to get to that mastery level. But that's why it's great having a veteran in the room, Alberto, and then also having a great coach, like Coach Whitmer. And I would say that having that playbook at home already, because Alberto was at my house when I committed, or at my parents' house. I definitely, in Christmas break, in the off time, I started diving the playbook before I arrived on campus, and ever since been trying to be consistent in the film room, in the playbook, in order to gain a mastery by the end of the spring.
We'll go front row left to Todd.
Fernando, a similar question I have for Pat in respect of ingratiating yourself with your teammates. But for a quarterback, it's different. I mean, you have to kind of assert that right away. You don't get that kind of flowing into the team kind of thing. So what was your approach on that in terms of establishing yourself as a leader for your guys?
Yeah, I think Pat said it beautifully here before me. It's a challenge that I accept. At Cal, I was there for 3 years, and the past 2 years I was team captain. So it was a way that I was a young guy, integrated. It took a little longer to learn the guys' name, not like learn the guys intricately, like their families, everything about them, and really get immersed and put in that position. However, here I put in, I'm expected to be the guy from day one. So it's a great challenge that I've accepted, and I've really enjoyed learning all the guys, learning everybody on offense, defense, specialists. So I'm really excited to keep on learning and to keep on improving those relationships and put those relationships towards the field and have on-field success with them, and off-field success.
We'll go Seth front row left, and then Jared.
And Fernando, just what's your relationship like with your brother? Like, how much, I guess, of a draw was it for you to come here to be able to play with him in the same room? How much do you guys push each other out on the field? Like, what's it like just being teammates in the same position room as your brother?
Yeah, my brother and I, we do everything together. We watch film together. We get better together. We have tough times together. So it's been great, and he's been a stepping stone to me learning the offense and my early steps here in spring ball. So, I mean, I can't thank him enough. And he was definitely a pushing edge. And when he gave me the good and, hey, let's come to IU, it was even more of a push to come to IU. So I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity I've been given.
Is that something you pictured kind of growing up together, like being college teammates like this?
Honestly, no, because when I went to Cal, he was committed to JMU at first, and I didn't think our paths would cross at that point. So it's been an incredible journey, but it's an incredible privilege, and it just shows that God has a plan for us. I'm really grateful that I'm be able to play with him.
You know, Jared, second row on your left, and then Joe.
You and Coach Woodward are like a unique position where both of you guys are new coming in. Have you guys felt like you've been learning together sort of the offense and how to integrate yourselves together?
Yeah, Coach Whitmer is probably the best he is the best quarterback position coach that I've been around. So I've been extremely grateful to have him, and although I'm a veteran, I've been learning so much, and feel like I've been getting better every day, and I'm only on the up curve. So I'm extremely grateful to have him. He's a phenomenal coach, phenomenal person, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I mean, that guy he's a special quarterback coach. Nothing like I've ever had before.
Second row to Joe, and then we'll go to Nick.
What are some of the challenges of having to, 3 years at Cal, learning their scheme and their playbook into now, you've only had a couple months to try and get up to speed here at IU?
Yeah, football is all the same. Everybody runs similar concepts. However, the terminology, the intricacies of the offense, actually having your eye patterns like through the progressions, and timing up the new footwork, because it's a new footwork for me as well. There's a lot of variables to it, but I feel like I'm picking it up from day 1 to day 4. I believe I had a lot more success as far as not just the result base, but more as a process base of dealing with the protection, dealing with the mechanics of the play. So it's been an adjustment, and it's been a great challenge. Every year that I've been in college, this will be my 4th year, I've had a new offensive coordinator. So it's been something I've been used to, and I really look forward to accepting that challenge.
Go far right on the front row to Nick, and then Daniel.
Since you were at Cal before, how's the weather adjustment here?
Yeah, Cal is one thing about Cal. I mean, Cal has phenomenal weather. California has phenomenal weather. It's very dry over there, and it's pretty steady, the weather. Here it's been great. I mean, we've had a lot of snow. I believe more often than not. I think this is like a snowy winter, from what I've heard. So it's been a good adjustment. I never lived in the snow, but it's been funny, throwing a snowball around, just dealing with the snow, driving in the snow. So it's definitely been an experience, and it's different. It's different, and different is good, and change is good. So I'm excited to grow as a person in that regard.
Standing right with Daniel, and then Josh.
On Chandler, is it his mind? Is it how he explains things? Just what is it about him that makes him who he is?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I would say, first of all, his mind, he's extremely detailed, extremely thorough with all his explanations. However, he makes it very digestible for the quarterback. He's a very type A personality, so he'll have all the details of the play, any scenario that you can think of, all different coverage combinations, pressure combinations. He will have a distinct answer and have a thorough answer rather than just not answer. And sometimes when we're working through things, because it's a new offense for him as well, he'll get back to me right away, or he'll get back to all the quarterbacks. So I think it's a fairly new quarterback room. The only one that was here last year was Alberto. So it's been a great challenge for all of us, and I feel like we're all stepping up to the plate. Yeah, but like his mind, but it's not just the mental side of the game, it's also the physiological state of the game, of resetting every play, of leading your teammates, especially because the quarterbacks and the line, they both set the tone of the offense. So to have that, and to have the mental support, the physiological support, and him as a whole has been a blessing.
We'll do Josh and Zach.
You've been talking about trying to get to know your teammates, offensive line, connecting with receivers on the field. How's that process been for you?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, we have a phenomenal receiving core. That's one of the main reasons I came here as well. We have Sirac, Coop, EJ, Charlie, Was, Tyler, Mackay. We have so many, Cam. So I don't want to forget anybody now. LeBron, Miles Jackson. I know we have a couple coming in the summer. So I mean, it's been a great experience throwing to them. And these guys they're fast and they're really good. So honestly, it's been a little bit of an adjustment for myself to get used to these guys, build chemistry with them, see how they get out of their breaks. They get out of their breaks extremely fast, and like pros, because all those guys are future NFL receivers. So it's been a great experience, and it's definitely pushed me, and I hope to be the point guard and just get them the ball, because that's my job.
We'll stay on your right with Zach B. and then go to Mike.
With your preparation process, talking with a lot of your former teammates at Cal, they raved about your preparation process. What's different about how you prep for a game midweek that stands out to your peers?
Yeah, I would say preparation builds confidence. So when you're in the film room all day, whether it be the entire week before the game, the week before practice, even a day or two before the walkthrough, first summer walkthrough, or whatever it is, when you're prepared and you know it like the back of your hand, you don't second guess yourself, that allows you to have full confidence and not to be able to think about it on the field. Because when you think about it on the field, like you need to think on the field, but you don't want to literally sit there and be like, oh shoot, what's this play again? Oh shoot, what's my read on this play again? So when you have that total confidence, you see the look, you're like, oh, we talked about this with Coach Whitmer, easy, boom, boom, bam. It gives you a lot of confidence. You're able to play free. Be able to play free in that flow state, and that's where the best quarterbacks play in.
We'll finish up on your left with Mike.
Yeah, what were your first impressions of Curtis County? Did Alberto kind of tell you what to expect, or what was kind of that process like to develop a little bit?
Yeah, so I've followed Indiana throughout the year, so I've seen many of his press conferences, and I've heard about him through Alberto and other teammates. And he's a phenomenal coach, phenomenal guy, and he holds you to an extremely high standard. And that's the main reason I came here. He's an offensive mind. He holds everyone to a high standard. His program always wins, and those are two things that I want to be: held to a high standard and win. So I'm extremely grateful to have him as a head coach.
Great. Thanks, Fernando. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Fernando.
Good meeting y'all.
Thank you.
Kick us off, and we'll go to Pete.
Yeah, Pat, just with center, what's your background? I mean, I know cross-trained, I guess, last year before the season. How long have you been playing it? You do cross-training before that? And what's your background in the position?
Oh yeah, my first 2 years was all center. So 2 years straight, and then I moved over to guard for my junior year, played 13 games there, and then last year played 13 games at center. So honestly, majority center work.
We'll go Pete, second row on your left, and then Zach.
Pat, I guess, what is it like about playing the center position, and then what was it that intrigued you about coming in?
I'll start with the position first. I honestly, it's just that the center of the offense and that command that you have for your guys and the trust that you build between your guys and the guys to the right of you, the guys to the left of you, and then you're right there in the middle. So, I've always thought of myself as a good communicator, and that leads to the football field. So, it's obviously, you're always learning. No one's perfect, and I've really taken strides to, become the best version of myself, and that's helping the guys next to me, because that's the job of the center. And then just IU in general, I mean, just an unbelievable opportunity. Obviously, I saw the year that those guys had last year, and the momentum in this program right now is remarkable, and I couldn't wait to be a part of it. And I knew the center spot was opening. I knew Katie was leaving, so and then when I got to talking with the coaches, I loved everyone, and what really did it for me was the guys in the locker room. Like, can't say enough high things about them. I mean, it's just a great group of guys in there, and it's a great bond we're building for sure.
We'll go on your left to Zach, and then to Jared.
I guess for a center in particular, what are kind of the most important aspects of the relationship you build with Coach Bostad? What he expects from you, what he needs you to communicate. Obviously, you've kind of gone through that process before, but knowing you need to do it kind of in a compressed space of time here, but having the experience, just what are the kind of the keys for both of you in terms of your comfort with what he needs?
Yeah, absolutely, and we've built a great relationship, and we're still building. So it's really been a positive experience all around, and he expects a lot from his centers, and it's been great to learn new things under him, because he has just an amazing resume, and he's really taken what he's learned from the NFL and implemented it here. So it's really been a really positive experience, and whether it be safety rotations or what the linebackers are doing, or how they're bossing over, how they're shifting with the pre-snap motions, like all that is a part of the center's job, and then you got to go block the D lineman. So it's a lot on your plate, but at the same time he does a remarkable job of zeroing in on the specifics and helping us out. And he knows I'm a veteran guy, so he knows I know my stuff, but learning from him has really been a positive experience so far.
second row left to Jared and Todd.
You mentioned all the responsibilities that Coach Bostad has at center. Was it kind of different coming in as a new guy and then also having to be a leader on that line?
Yeah, I think so, and I think I'm still like growing into that role, right? Like, it's a new locker room for me, and I've accepted that challenge of meeting new people and meeting new friends and learning people's names and stuff. And obviously coming in, I think I came in week 4 of their off season, and that was a bit of a challenge because they were already rolling, and then I jump in. So, but overall, it's been really positive, and obviously as a center, there's a big responsibility that I have to be, a leader of that offense and a leader of that offensive line. And it was a great challenge, and it will be a great challenge up until week 1. And I'm excited for it and looking forward to just keep on building with these guys.
Go first row left to Todd.
Yeah.
And then Seth.
And along those same lines, I mean, what has been your approach with your new teammates and trying to establish your own leadership on the line? And maybe what have you learned from some of your past teammates who are older than you to establish that kind of rapport with your guys?
Yeah, I think it all comes natural, right? Like, no matter where you are, what program you're in, like, if you're playing high-level football, you're all cut from the same cloth. And I think that's what you see or what I saw in my transition here was these guys, it's all the same great dudes, like extremely hard workers, positive energy, love to come to work every day, just great teammates. But then you get outside the facility and they're just awesome dudes to hang around with. So building that and hanging out with them inside the facility, outside the facility, it's been great. And like I said, I kind of learned that if you're playing big time football, you're cut from the same cloth, and it's really a natural process, and it's gonna keep building all the way up until the season starts.
Go Seth front row left, then Daniel.
And Pat, obviously, with Notre Dame, you played against Indiana in the playoff last year. Just what was that experience like for you going up against Indiana and that defensive line, and how much insight did that give you to the program?
Well, I'll say they were really good, and Coach Haynes runs a remarkable defense, and game planning for them was a huge challenge. And I think they were the #1 rush defense in the country when we played them. So it was great. And then it's funny being here now. Like, people always throw jabs or jokes or something, but I saw CJ in the hallway yesterday, and that was kind of my matchup the whole game because he played interior. And no, it's been great though. It's been cool. And game planning for them it's kind of unique because now I know a little bit about them coming into spring ball. So it's been great.
Go on your right to Daniel and then Joe.
On that note, kind of as well, you kind of saw that success last year afar. When you're in the program up close, what has made it so successful in your eyes here?
I think, like I said in a previous question, it's the guys in the locker room. And from my experience, the greatest teams are always led by the players. There's great coaches, but the greatest teams are always led by the players and the leadership in the locker room, and I see that here. I really do, and it starts with guys like Fish and Mikhail and Carter Smith and Bray, and then you add in me and Fernando. It's just this, and there's a plethora of others, and it's just this compilement of dudes that just want to make each other better and are really in it for one goal, and that's to be the best version of themselves, and that'll lead to being the best team on the field on Saturdays.
We'll go Joe second row on your left, and then
Pat, you snapped to Riley Leonard last year, snapping to Fernando this year. Kind of what are the differences you see in those quarterbacks, and how's Fernando kind of stood out to you?
I mean, it's been a really great transition. He was like the first guy I met when I took my official visit here, and he came to all the lunches with us. He was blowing on my phone, and is he sitting over there? No, he's been great though. I mean, I honestly see a ton of similarities between the team. I just see like gamers, like I think that's a great compliment you can give someone, and it's just they're gamers. They know how to get the job done no matter the circumstances, and can't wait to keep on growing our relationship and just keep playing ball.
Zach front row right, and then Josh.
What from your experience last season in the college football playoff with Notre Dame can you bring over to this program to help Indiana get to that next level?
I think the greatest thing I learned is just like, the virtue of gratitude and just being in the moment and really taking everything you have in stride and never looking too forward, never looking in the past, and just that virtue of gratitude will lead to success on the field, because I really think that, like I said, the locker room is the most important piece, and when you have a group of individuals all focused on one goal and all grateful for the opportunity to play on Saturdays and grateful for each other and, you know, grateful to just strap it up, you know, it makes an impact, and that's probably the biggest thing I learned.
Josh wraps up.
Pat, you played 2 months ago about in you're back in spring ball. How do you stay fresh and stay the course and stay healthy?
Yeah, obviously it's a challenge, and it's a unique challenge with the new landscape of college football, but it's a challenge I've happily accepted, right? Like, I get to play football. I don't have to play football. Like, I always tell myself, like, I get to go do these things, you know? Like, I get to wake up this morning. I get to practice with my friends and my fellas, like, and that's kind of the virtue of gratitude thing, like I kind of just talked about and learned to appreciate. And obviously there's some tangible things, like I got to take care of my body. I got to eat really great, and, you know, just getting older and playing with all the reps I got, you know, it's unique landscape of college football, but it's a challenge I accepted, and it's a challenge many guys across the country have to face too. So it's game on now.
Great. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you guys.
Tomorrow, we'll start with Zach, and then we'll go to Mike.
I guess, especially, you know, in a fifth year, like what is your focus in the spring? I know you've talked about sort of trying to do a little bit more positionally along the front, but you know the scheme really well. Obviously, you know the staff really well and everything. I imagine you're probably not trying to put too much physical load on your body. Just like, how do you approach a spring practice when you've got the experience, just the sort of the depth of experience?
Honestly, nothing has really changed. I kind of still attack it just like I'm a freshman, like I'm a sophomore. I really love playing the game of football, so I kind of just go out there and go make plays and try to make sure I'm not picking up any bad habits, right? So anything I watched on, you know, during film, whether it's getting my pad level lower, getting my hands a little bit better, getting my feet a little bit quicker from watching film from last season, whatever those things I need to improve on, is kind of just continue to sharpen my tools.
We'll go Mike, then Todd.
Yeah, during the offseason, you know, when you were kind of looking, maybe think about the NFL, how far down the road did you kind of get in that process? And what was your kind of thinking and coming back, and how quickly did you kind of make that decision?
It was pretty quick, especially after we lost to Notre Dame. I was like, we was really close, and I was like, I kind of got that taste of almost getting to the championship, right? And I feel like the experience that a lot of these guys have, especially with, you know, my top two guys, Fish and Pons coming back, right? We kind of talked about it a little bit, and I was like, we come out, we really make a good run. So it's really just to come back and try to bring up the championship here in Bloomington.
Staying on to Todd and Seth.
Yeah, flowing from that, I mean, last year this team was driven so much by the hunger to improve yourselves. I mean, a lot of you guys that come from the gym, you've proven yourselves to a certain level. I know you want to prove yourselves higher, but has the nature of the hunger changed at all in the offseason, or is it the same?
It's the same. Honestly, it's more because now you have more eyes on you, right? So I've seen a lot of things talking about that sophomore slump. So that's something that I know I've taken pride on, something that's not going to happen. So it's really just to come back and show that we can do it again and again and again and again. So it's really just the same thing, just a different season.
Seth on your left, and Pete.
Yeah, Mikhail, have you seen maybe a different mentality with the newcomers coming into a program now that had the success you guys had last year compared to, obviously, you know, like we were just talking about, like guys wanted to prove yourself last year. You know, is it just different now with the guys who came in, you know, having seen what you guys did last year?
Yeah, I think the guys that come in now kind of understand what's needed to get this thing done, right? So a lot of guys that's come in are a lot of veterans that's played at, you know, high levels. Ed's played at Ohio State, Pat played at Notre Dame, right? So you got guys who's played at a high level that can come in and bring that experience with them. And especially since we already have a culture built over this entire last year, they kind of come in the first few weeks, they kind of get integrated and kind of understand how we flow, what the mentality is, and they kind of just adjust real fast.
We'll go Pete and then Jared.
Mikhail, how well does this defense suit you? Obviously, you've been in it quite a while now. But what is it that really maximizes your abilities, and how have you learned to adapt?
It's kind of, we have a good bit of freedom, right? So I can kind of go out there and make plays. Especially me, kind of becoming an older guy and more of a vet. Coach kind of gives me a little bit more freeway, right? A little more leeway to go and kind of just trust my eyes, right? So we are gapped up, we're disciplined, but he allows me to take my shot, to do what I need to do to go make a play and boost this team to where we need to go.
Stay second row on your left to Jared, then Zach B.
You mentioned before that you wanted to play a little more of the stud this year. How much did you do that in the spring, and then how much do you want to do that in the fall?
So that's pretty much the position I've switched to full time. I'm more like stud, and then if necessary, I'll get a little bit of field in. So I'll pretty much be staying over there throughout the entire fall, throughout the spring.
We'll go Zach B front on your right, and then Josh.
How freeing is it to know you have behind you guys like Aiden Fisher, like D'Angelo Pons that can make plays themselves? How freeing is that?
It's very freeing. It's knowing like if I mess up, they're gonna clean it up, right? And I know when I'm pass rushing, I know D'Lo gonna give me some time back there when he's covering and doing his thing. So it's great to know that we got all Americans, we got guys on every single level. It makes everyone's job a lot easier.
Josh and Daniel.
So it's on topic of just like trying to prove yourself once again. Is that something that's left unsaid when you guys are practicing, or you guys have talked about we got to avoid the sophomore slump?
It's definitely unsaid. I think everyone that's here already has that mentality. Everyone's already dogs, right? So when you have a whole group of dogs, you don't gotta really say too much, right? You just go out there to play, and especially once you start to see practice kind of slow down, you have those leaders that kind of pick it back up, right? So I think everyone that's a part of this program knows what they need to get done and how to get it done. So it's really not much talking we have to do.
We'll go Daniel, then Nick.
Wanted to ask you on Amari as well again. Aiden mentioned that you approached him about him like kind of wanting Amari under his wing. Why did you approach Aiden about that?
I mean, he's one of the top linebackers that I've ever played with, right? So he takes the game real serious. He plays physical, right? He's really smart. He understands offenses. He understands our entire scheme. So he's kind of the full package in that regard. And someone like that, I think that's the best person to take, have my brother go under his wing. I've done a lot what I can do to teach him, but he plays linebacker, which is a little bit different than what I'm doing. So why not get the best linebacker in the country to mentor him?
Go Nick on your right, and then Joe.
Have you noticed like the other transfers adjusting well, and what are you expecting out of them in the upcoming season?
Everyone adjusted really well. I think this is a great team to kind of transfer into. Or I think we're just like in the locker room. It's easy to transfer and adjust to our style, right? Because we're pretty much family oriented. We're pretty good at welcoming people in, right? And then when it comes to football, I think they all kind of have that thing, right? That's why SIG recruited them, right? So they just come here and they figure out the playbook and they get to do whatever they need to do. Whatever the reason that SIG brought him here is a reason, right? So we got guys like Zen, we got guys like Pat, D-line wise, we got Rat, we got Jose, we got a bunch of guys who come in here and just already got that dog in them. They just got to figure out the playbook and get going.
We'll wrap it up second row with Joe.
Yeah, you mentioned how with Aiden D'Angelo opting to come back this season, that was kind of big. I mean, what is that bond? How important is kind of that trio, regardless of you three being in different positions?
It's important, right? Especially like I said earlier, having us, you have one guy from every single level, right? You got a D lineman, you got a linebacker, you got a DB. So just to be able to have that leadership on every single level. So it's not even about just us making plays, but what can we inspire the other guys to do, right? So I think that's one of the biggest pieces that kind of go on something.
Great. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll start with Zach and go to Todd.
D'Angelo, I guess sort of a similar question to Kyle, but you talked so much last year about wanting to prove that you could be one of the best corners in the country, competing against the best. Just when you go through an off season, what's the mentality or the approach you take to building on that? Essentially just saying, I was an All-American last year, this is how I get even better, essentially.
Yeah, for me, it's just finding ways to get better, like little things. I go back and watch games from last year, but just finding things I need to get better on, working on myself. There's always things I can improve on as a DB, so for me, it's just taking one day at a time and competing and finding ways to get better.
Stay on your left with Todd, and then go to Seth.
You mentioned what Mikhail talked about, having the former JMU guys at each level of the defense. What's your approach to leadership with your teammates, and how is how are the three of you kind of, are you similar in the way you approach guys? Are you different? What do you kind of follow?
I would say we're definitely different. But we all just hold the team to a high standard. Basically, I'm more of a lead by example type of guy. I'm working on speaking more, but Aiden's more of a loud guy. So that's how we're different. I feel like I'll just lead by example, but I still hold my guy to a high standard.
Seth on your left, and then Jared.
D'Angelo, how much have you been able to line up and compete against Fernando so far? What's stuck out about him as a quarterback from your perspective?
A lot. He's the one, so I go against him every day. But the thing that stuck out to me is how mobile he is and his deep ball accuracy. He got a strong arm. I could see it when he was throwing that pro day, and once he came out there threw against us, I could see he got a strong arm.
We'll go Jared, second row on your left, then Pete.
Working with Coach Ogeron, obviously developed really well last year. What do you think makes you guys work well together?
I feel like he's a guy that knows a lot. He has a lot of knowledge, like a lot of football knowledge. He gets me better every day. He pushes me. He doesn't treat me different from anybody else. He doesn't care about the success I had in the past. That's somebody I need in my corner. Just somebody who's not a yes man, who just corrects me when I'm wrong and just gets me better every day.
Pete, and you obviously have gone against a lot of quality receivers. You will again this season. How do you prepare for that, and how much film do you watch on individual receivers, and how much do you just embrace that challenge, like bring it on?
Yeah, I love going against top competition, just showing everybody I can compete with those guys as well. I watch a lot of film too, so during the season, I'll probably watch like every game they played and just know their tendencies, what they like to do, and it really helps me. So I definitely like going against top competition and showing what I got to.
Nick and then Daniel.
I was just going to ask, what have you noticed from transfers Andy and Knighton?
Those guys came in ready to work. You can tell they were taught some things at their schools, and they transferred over here and kept the same mentality. Those guys, I'm really excited for them. I feel like they're going to help us in the season.
Daniel on your right, and then Josh.
On that note, I think y'all have like 2 or 3 enrollees, right? Like Zach and is it Jalen Bell?
Yeah.
What, in your eyes, makes a quality young freshman at corner?
Just coming in and being a sponge, basically. Those guys came in willing to learn. Those guys ask me questions about anything, and they just take it in. So I'm really excited for them as well.
We'll go Josh and then Joe.
You look at the guys that come in, and you guys had last season, and they're coming in hoping for the same thing. Is there anything that you tell them? I know you're not as much of a vocal leader, but is anything you tell the guys coming in?
Really, I just tell them keep their head down and work. It'll happen out of nowhere if you just keep your head down and work and find a way on the field, like special teams, things like that. That'll get the coaches to trust you and just work hard.
We'll go Joe, second row on your right, and then Zach B.
What was the taste after that Notre Dame game into kind of opting to come back for another year here?
Really, I had 2 more years here, so I really, it wasn't really a choice for me. I wanted to come back here. It was no question in my brain that I wanted to come back here. But really, it left a bad taste in my mouth. Really wanted to come back and just prove that we can go to that stage, the national championship. So really wanted to come back and show everybody that we can do that.
Zach B. and then Mike.
Mikhail talked about that hunger and how the hunger has maybe increased this season. Where does your hunger stem from? What drives you with that hunger?
Really just the love for the game. I love the game. I feel like I've been playing it all my life, so the hunger never goes away. Like I always want to find ways to get better, to be the best version of myself. That's really what I try to do each and every day.
We're up on your left with Mike.
Yeah, to that point, and you mentioned that last year too, when you kind of looked at the film, where do you feel like you need to take another step, or things that you need to work out to get to that point where you want to be?
For me, it's really disguising. A lot of teams like to just throw, and we're in cover 3, showing that we're in cover 3, they'll throw a little hitch, so I'm disguising more, just doing more little things to get the quarterback off his game. But really just working on that and just more pick production from my standpoint.
Great. Thanks, D'Angelo. Appreciate it.
Thanks, D'Angelo.